England 0 from 3 in this year's Autumn Nations series. Here is Jonny. It is quite tough being an England fan.
I don't think it's a crisis or a disaster. England are competitive. The defence is upsetting me because we're conceding simple tries. You look to the Six Nations and you just think, bloody how good would it be? I think it could be the making of that team to go away to Ireland and win that first game. We know how talented and amazing Marcus is. That was last World Cup. I just noticed him becoming a bit of a man now.
I think this Autumn International, he's looked proper world class.
Wales 20, Australia 52. Let's bring in Jonathan Fox.
Everyone has to buy into a new system that has one common goal, and to make Welsh rugby as a whole better, going down a region, making the quality of the teams better.
Breakaway League, a lot of noise.
It will create longevity within the Premiership. I think you'll find more superstars. You just got to reinvent the wheel, otherwise it
runs out of spinning.
Into the final moments, Alex Payne trying to keep this side going forward. Haskell takes it on now with just relentless chat, largely about himself. And there's Tyndall to add the finishing touch of glamour and World Cup winning stories. That is how you podcast.
Grip, safety and performance, Continental Tires, dream team.
Sorry, you can read it. Just keep your eye. Just keep looking.
No,
up.
I reckon I got it.
Okay.
all right.
There's tension. I feel that there's
You're
tension.
nervous, aren't you?
No, I'm not nervous. The energy is.
Why?
I don't know.
Because Nanny's been a bit funny.
No, not Nanny.
Can you
like you're edgy today.
Yeah.
He's
just sick of me.
he's hyper.
He's tired. Yeah.
He's tired.
He's cranky.
He gets sick of me because I get cranky. I get rude. I get very cutting when I'm hungover.
We ready? Okay.
As we'll ever be.
Right. And I look down the camera. Hello, Dream Team, and welcome to Good Bad Rugby, sponsored by our very good friends at Continental Tires. At Continental Tires, they pride themselves on performance, grip, and safety, the complete opposite to our show where we are a liability. So please get your Continental Tires on, put your seatbelts on also, and strap in.
Yeah.
Because off we go.
If you're that was it. Honestly, that's what Continental Tires are paying for. Let's strap in. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, drop your thoughts and comments, good or bad. We love it. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. There it is, just turn him on. And make sure you follow the Good Bad Rugby channel every time.
God, give me strength.
Yes.
On this week's show, welcome to all of you. England 0 from 3 in this year's Autumn Nations series. Wales, on paper, the worst Welsh team in history. We're going to be dialing in John Fox Davies, who no doubt is wearing a smile. Ireland and Scotland back to winning ways. But first of all, here is Jonny. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. A week off in the Pro League 2. I come back to sell my soul for the internationals. It pays well, and I get to watch the game. I get to see all my mates as well, so I have a great time at Twickenham.
I want to know how Angoulême are getting on.
Angoulême are going well. We are 7th out of 16, which is pretty decent.
Define well.
This block we've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2.
Okay.
Is that well?
It's all right. Yeah, like I said to you, we're not a team with the ambition to go up to the top 14. So like,
do fans know that, or is that?
Yeah, I'd say so. They're pretty clear and honest, which is refreshing, to be honest, with what they want to achieve. They want to be competitive, play good rugby, win games, but we're not a Brive or a Aix-en-Provence. But we did draw to Aix-en-Provence at home, so we've had some good results. We're playing some good rugby. One step too far against Grenoble away on Friday night. We got rolled over a bit, but we'll bounce back, and we've got this week off, 4 more games before Christmas, and then 2 weeks off for Christmas. So it's not a bad league.
Are you loving it?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, really loving it. Yeah.
Good. How's the French?
Everybody asks me all the time. I don't know if I need to swap into trying to speak a bit of French when people ask me that.
You should, yeah, immediately.
Okay, right. Je me sens, je suis amélioré pour parler français. Je avec ma femme une leçon de français par semaine. Moi aussi assis avec français mec pour petit déjeuner tous les jours.
Very good. I got pissed out. You know when you get the subtitles and, it bounces along?
It does, yeah.
That was very good.
I
you having breakfast with your friends?
So I have I make the effort to sit with the French boys at breakfast, which helps, and I have a French lesson once a week with my wife, so I'm improving.
Shall we reflect on the weekend?
We have to.
Penny for your thoughts.
0 from 3 doesn't sound great.
It sounds awful.
No. I think South Africa was always going to be maybe a step too far. Look at the experience they've got. Look at where they are in their journey compared to this England team. if we had won the last 2 games and probably played like that, there's a much better outlook on it than the outlook that there is now, having not won the first 2 games. But I don't think it's a crisis or a disaster. I think England are competitive. The defence is upsetting me because we're conceding simple tries, which is just like so annoying.
Why is that happening?
It's a blitz defence, which is high risk, high reward, and we've had one coach come in and go, and then another coach come in.
Right.
So it's like quite unsettling and unstable. So it's no coincidence that it's not a well-oiled machine yet when parts are changing all the time. And ultimately, as is the nature of elite sport, it needs to be fixed quickly, and it needs to be sorted because people's, unfortunately, it's the nature of it, people's jobs and positions in a team at an elite level are in danger if these things aren't fixed quickly, because they're going to cost. It is costing us games.
Quick question: which has been the best performance of the 3? Is the graph going up, down, jagged?
It went like it was a good performance against, in my opinion, against New Zealand, which we should have won, which we didn't. I honestly think we could have beaten Australia by 40 points if we had the foot on the throat and we just needed to keep going.
Yeah.
That was the worst performance, because sometimes when you come out guns blazing, start like a rocket and score a couple of early tries, you think, this is great, we're doing brilliant. And then naturally sort of ease up a little bit.
Because Jamie George got
get
hammered for the comments saying that, we went out so fast that is that a thing?
I don't think that's what he meant.
I'm sure he didn't, but I'm sure it's been misinterpreted.
What can happen is you get a couple of easy tries, and then all of a sudden you get carried away or lured into the game of thinking, oh, this is a fun game and I'm going to get to do all this fancy stuff, and you forget about the nuts and bolts of a game. And then 50 minutes in, oh dear, like Australia in the game, this isn't how we thought it was going to go. We're now the team significantly under pressure. These were the underdogs, and you're in a very, very sticky position.
Yeah, I give Australia actually a lot of credit in that game, which has been backed up by their performance this weekend. Is how they're attacking is completely with freedom, not what you'd associate generally with Smith. The offloading game that they've got, how they're allowing Skelton, Wright, Valentini, and then their back 3 has just been off the chain. Ikitau this week was superb.
Brilliant. He was amazing against England as well.
But in many ways, what you've just said there is symptomatic of why England fans are so frustrated right now, which is Joe Schmidt has had a summer tour against Wales. He's had a rugby championship. Well, he's had a year, but he actually only got his players really in June. And Australia are, some of the headlines, they are back. They think they're back. The Lions tour has come alive. The frustration for England fans, I don't think it centres on Steve, and I don't think it centres on the players, and I don't think it centres on this team. It is just, essentially, it's 20 years of really inconsistent. For every, World Cup, there is a home exit in 2015. For every series win in Australia, there is a losing in New Zealand when you coulda, shoulda, woulda. For every Grand Slam in 2016, there is 2013 and getting blown off the park. It's just so... It is quite tough being an England fan. Relative, I think, to a lot of other countries.
I would also say that I'm trying to put positive spins on it because I still like that group. I still like the 15 that starts every week. And for all of these games up to 60 minutes, we've either been ahead or in an arm wrestle, which has been the same from the summer and everything else. We are not managing the last 20 minutes of games right, for whatever reason that is, whether it's people that we're bringing on, when we're bringing them on, or what them understanding their roles when they come on. When the South African subs come on, they know their role. Quagga Smith is incredible because he knows what he's doing. He's just coming on to be an absolute nuisance, turn up, get the ball and carry into people and physically go, right, I'm fresher than you and I'm going after you.
So is this a clarity of understanding of what you're doing, or is this a depth of talent issue?
No, I think it's picking the right guys who can do that off the bench, and don't necessarily think we've done that. Now, that might be harsh on the people on the bench because it might actually be direction of what you're doing. That's the bit that we're getting wrong at the moment, because I think our 15 looks good every time it goes on the field. Arguably, you could be sat here and we could be 5 from 5 from the summer, but we're not. Now,
so when does that become the problem?
Oh, it's a problem already because it's still 5 losses on the bounce. But I do think the talent in this team is good enough. I think there is tweaking. I think we've identified defence as an issue because we lose against Australia with the last play of the game, which we should never have done for an individual defensive error, or if it might be actually a team defensive error, depending on who's telling the story. So we know we have the players. There's a few tweaks to be done, but I don't want to be down on it because I think you're not far away from a turnaround where you could start winning those games. And I think we've got young enough players. You look at our back line, there's only one person over 30, and it's Slady. So you have an age range of players that you want to keep in and around that because they will get better. And maybe we're just going through that real hard period that every team's gone through.
Add a sort of a stat-esque thing to that, which I'd be interested to get your reaction to, Jonny. So between October 2018 and September 2019, South Africa won 1 of 5 against the Big Five. Mm-hmm. Ireland won 1 of 8 against the Big Five from January 2019 to March 2021. France won 1 of 14 against the Big Five from June 2017 to March 2019. Mm-hmm. The point being, the teams that we now see sitting at the top of the tree have had to go through a period where they cannot find these results against what are perceived. And I think a lot of people would say that all 3 of them were adrift at some point. I mean, Andy Farrell was probably lost that England game in the last game of the Six Nations. People were sort of saying it's make or break type thing. And now he's Lions head coach and Ireland are sensational. Do you take comfort from that? And do you believe that this England team, when you look at the age of the back line, Jack Van Portfleet 23, Marcus Smith 25, Slady 31, Ollie Lawrence 25, Freeman 23, Slightham 24, Stewart 23. Mm-hmm. Obviously, some might change, etc. Fray, Weboso and Furbank not too dissimilar. Is this a plea? Stick with what this team are doing because you have to go through where they are now to get to where they want to get to.
Yeah, when I look at the results, and I probably the reaction that's outside is different to how I feel because I've been involved with teams like even with Eddie the year before the 2019 World Cup, we lost 5 in a row. And that was the following year we became a team that was very, very strong and things can change quickly. And it's funny how the narrative now is that Australia have won 2 games and they're the best team and England have lost 3 or 5 games and they're the worst team. It's really not the case. I just hope every game that at this level is very close. Like I just look at Japan is a bit of a different game in terms of what that challenge is. But you look at the start of the Six Nations, I think it is Ireland away, France at home, Scotland. And like on one hand, there are 3 games that we could win. And then on the other hand, it's like 3 games that we could lose. And it's like, Jesus, it's just a tough programme, isn't it?
That's the top of the game right now. Though.
Yeah, it's a tough programme and we need to find some results. And I hope that we do find the results, but we're not that. We're very different to where Wales are. Yeah. I watch them and they're losing and they don't look like they're going to win. And that's not saying anything about who's playing or who's coaching. That's just where they are. I don't think England are in that position. I think we're very close and we've got a very good group of players who are only going to get better. But the results aren't there, and that's why questions get asked.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the game, individually, there were some good individual performances in that from England, but it's the collective that's just not quite functioning yet. You know, you would say 3 games with Marcus at 10. Marcus has been arguably man of the match in all 3 of them until he either gets moved around or
But how fun is it taking him that? How fun is it taking him that? Like,
he's a classic example of what where you can get to if you are given time.
I know you've got a camera, but I just think it's a really interesting point. Like, you know, obviously carving up for Harlequins. If you were really honest, he's had like moments in English that be really good. But would you actually say like he's really taken the ball by the horns? I think this autumn international, he's looked proper world class, like pulling magic out of his arse, really leading the team. Looked like a brilliant, mature player. But it's taken that many games now to get the dominance. I think people forget, particularly in different positions and stuff, with essentially some new players, new teams, to put systems in place. It takes time. I just think the juxtaposition with Australia, the fact that it's taken them a shorter period of time to get into action. You know,
but they haven't nailed it.
That's what I mean.
They haven't. No. They've won 2 good games.
That's what I mean.
Let's not get carried away. Yeah. And the thing with Marcus is you forget how early he came into the squad. He's like 25. That's like still a young age. Yeah. He's a fly half, and he trained with us. Like Eddie brought him in from school,
15 or something. Yeah.
So like, of course, it's taken. Like I've watched him develop, and I was even at the last physically. I looked at him differently. This World Cup just gone, I was like, yeah, you're like because he looks young, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's not a big guy, but like I was like his legs look big. He was strong. He's like physically, he's come on a lot.
Yeah.
It takes time. It takes coming in, going out, going away, understanding where you need to work, improve. And like I said, it wasn't until this we know how talented and amazing Marcus is. But yeah, that last World Cup, I was like watching it. Like I just noticed him like becoming a bit of a man now.
Yeah,
his legs are looking bigger and he's
You've got
stronger.
a bit of a thing from him, haven't you?
Yeah, but like I was just like, and he's got so far. He's got faster. His acceleration. He's just
Sexier, you say.
Yeah, but he's just physically becoming a man.
His
and
hair's
he's
that little bit longer, so he looks.
It takes a bit of time.
The way he smells and stuff's great.
These boys need a bit of time. But like I said, these games are not easy. Like you look at the Japan games, a different challenge. You look at the.
Is there any chance they could lose against Japan?
No. No,
you're going there, or we've seen other podcasts nail their colours to the mast, and it's been blown up.
It's a different challenge to the Japan game. But like you look to the Six Nations and you just think, bloody, how good would it be? I think it could be the making of that team to go away to Ireland and win that first game. And they come back, and they come back, and then they're like, right, we know how to win. We feel good. We have that little bit more confidence in the last 20.
That's the value bet now.
Yeah.
I also think that the games, like you said, have just been very enjoyable to watch, and actually. It's not like they're playing badly and
it is entertaining.
It's entertaining. They're actually playing some really good bits mixed in with some bad bits. It's just
the atmosphere on the weekend was still rocking. It was actually quite good to see the RFU do something slightly different with a light show.
They did a light show.
Fireworks. It's actually very good as well.
I wonder if Mr. Farquhar will be all right with that. I don't believe it. You've done my cataracts in. I can't possibly see. I can't see my... My goodness.
I've dropped my porn sandwich.
On my red trousers. I didn't know the lights was going off. Dear RFU, please pay the dry cleaning for my red trousers immediately. My wife Cynthia has never been more upset.
Keep going.
No, my son Bunty. If he dropped his Bellini with the caviar, I could.
No.
You could just keep going. Have another go. Go on more.
I can't. My shuffle fleece was awful. I didn't see the light. Terrible. Caught fire. Smoking my pipe. My daughter. Hyacinth. Sorry.
Can I ask a couple of quick fire? How's George Ford? Because, and I mentioned that thing. I think a lot of the England fans at the moment, they're like, not because of individuals and because of but because of the last, the flare-ups, disappointments, and I think the treatment of George was not actually about George. It was more about Marcus fan club doing the work type thing.
People know how close I am to Ford. I've obviously spoken to him, and it's just this is elite sport at the top level. You think about. The two tests in the summer where England could have won one, maybe two, and it was the last 20 minutes that got away. Steve then has the opportunity to have 40 on the bench, where it got an 8-point lead. The game's getting a little bit wobbly. What better person in the world to bring on than the smartest player we've got in the country to come on and know what it needs and fix this problem and take it by the horns. And he just came on and he had one of those days. If you go out there and do it enough, you're going to have one of those days every now and again. So it is a bit of a massive shame for him. Fordy knows he came on and didn't have his best moments in that game, and it's a shame because I completely understand what Steve was thinking. And George, 99 times out of 100, is the right person for that job. Yeah. But obviously, it has consequences, and then it's been difficult for him to get into his groove this autumn internationals, but he still has such a huge value with what he does around the place, the example he sets, the knowledge he has, what he can offer that team. He's somebody that needs to be in and around the environment, and it hasn't gone his way this series, but there's been so many series where he's nailed it for England and got us out of a lot of trouble.
It's actually interesting if you think, and this is taking the players out of it, of what's going through Steve's head. We obviously know, or it's well documented, whether we know it, that Steve is very analytical and very stat-based in everything that he does. Now he's played 5 games that he's been in the run in the last 15 minutes to win from the summer, and not one have they won. So then what effect does that do on him, on how he uses subs, how he makes sub? So he might be in a massive learning curve around what he's doing. Yeah. Because he left it a little bit longer on Saturday than he has done in the past. Yeah. And didn't change at all. Yeah, it didn't. But I think that then came down to how they played. But also, I say the impact of understanding what your bench is there to do. When it was a finisher, you sort of had an idea that I was going to go on there and I'm going to see a job offer in whatever way that needs me to be. Puts a bit of onus on you, but at the moment I don't know what the purpose is. The bomb squad has a purpose.
What one word answer is, I'm presuming from everything you said, it is still believe in Steve.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Is there something to be done around taking a bit of the pressure off him? And I'm going to read Clive Woodward's comments, just because it gives you something to react against. Don't groan. At the moment, the RFU does not have a strong rugby figure Borthwick can rely on or lean on for support. Neither Chief Executive Bill Sweeney nor Conor O'Shea, who's technically the RFU's Executive Director of Performance Rugby, have the experience or expertise to help Borthwick, and therein lies the problem. It's totally the RFU's own making, and it's really embarrassing. Could go on, but you get the gist of it.
Can I just say that, just generally, I love Clive, obviously,
Well, you've said it before, so
I've said it, but
differing opinions.
No, it's not different opinions. I just say every time this happens, he talks about a director of rugby or wheeling someone out, and it's all a veiled thing to get him back in the job. Honestly, if someone could do research, the amount of articles that after 6 days goes, Eddie Jones needs someone above him, Steve Borthwick needs someone above him. It's the Stuart Lancaster needs
this
someone
week
above
he said Warren Gatland needs someone above him.
Yeah,
But he doesn't want to do that.
direct. I mean, what do you mean?
Okay, so let's not delve into that necessarily, but the media side of it. I remember someone saying that Flats would be the most perfect person to send out and just do the bit of that Steve doesn't clearly want to do. Lets him get on with the stuff he does.
Well, why not send me out?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly it'll get headlines. I'm not quite sure that the RFU will be quite ready for the headlines it garnered, but English rugby and the
people
sidebar of shame at the Daily
people
Mail.
are saying that Steve needs somebody to do the media for
Yeah,
him.
he doesn't like
But
the
I said
media.
that.
Why not get rid of that element
But
from him?
I said that before when he first came in. I said the biggest
we
issue.
always said that because it was King Kev, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who did a lot of it.
I said the biggest issue is going to be that he is not a front of house man, and the problem is it's all well and good when you're winning. When you're losing, that's going to be the issue. And we saw it when he was captain. He's a great man. He cares a lot. He's a very good coach. He's
brilliant on here.
He's a brilliant guy on here. He just doesn't want to do it. So you just need someone front of house, and it's not shirking away from it. It's like know your skill set. The important part of being a leader is knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I think you could get someone in to do that, just to take away that thing, have the charm, have the personality, have the vibe, go out there and do that. I don't think that's an issue. It doesn't detract from him as well because everyone's part of the central message. And I just wouldn't. As a coach, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. There's some obligation, but you could just go, listen, I'll give you one bit a week, short time, but the rest of the time you're going to deal with X person to having that. And I think Clive's not wrong about a kind of rugby experience, but why would you employ someone to be an international coach if you had concerns that you need someone to lean on?
I'm not quite sure what the difference is in job specs.
I don't know whether he's just saying he needs someone out front to be a better,
I think he means a
PR
rugby
man,
brain. I think he needs someone to rely, because if you look at,
I wouldn't say that Clive was the greatest rugby brain,
but he was very good at the media.
He was good. He was good at that, and he was good at challenging the RFU. So,
but he also had strong coaches
you're
around.
Not going to get Steve going to Bill Sweeney. I want X amount more. I want this. I want that. I want that. I want this. He's not going to do that. So whether he means someone who's going to challenge the RFU to give him support where he feels he needs it, maybe.
I just think it's one of the makeup of the of coaching staffs that's so important. I think Felix Jones going,
Adam Walters,
them leaving, I think was a big.
It's been disruptive, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
it's the defence has been an issue, and we've had a. Do you know what I mean? It's quite simple to see that there's been a reason for that.
Changes for Japan?
There's still an opportunity to use this game to. If I was Steve, I'd go the 15 that he's penciled in to play against Ireland in the Six Nations, and then give some opportunities to some young guys on the bench to look at.
Like it.
Even some of the boys who did well in the A game, why not reward them?
Yeah, but you think about it, you'd like to see Ted Hill. I'd love to see Ted Hill have a gallop, like Tom Willis as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's been fantastic for his club.
Trees.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
You're going with 6 back rows on the bench at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is my thing last week, and I know it's game's past now. As soon as they came out 5-3, that was them disrespecting it. They thought they were going to muscle us up front. Should have gone 7-1. Without a shadow of a doubt, you should have just gone 7-1 against him.
What we should have gone at 7-1.
Yeah, we should have gone 7-1. As soon as he's gone 5-3, that's sort of saying that we expect our forwards to be able to do a job.
Oh, and he announced his team first.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
okay,
he did. And he basically then and he also went in the press conference and told everyone how England play. Well, we know they're going to kick a lot. We know they're going to do this. They're going to do that. We're going to,
in your
our
head.
backs. Yeah.
In your head. We haven't spoken a lot about South Africa because I think it's probably fair to say they weren't at their best, but they were still good enough. But I do want to come on to, because I think we can touch on a few of these. The Continental Tires question of the week this week. Caelan Doris, Cheslin Colby, Eben Etzebeth
Steph.
and Peter Steph Dutoit, all nominated as World Rugby Player of the Year. And your nominee award goes to?
I'd go Steph Dutoit.
Peter Steph Dutoit.
I mean, Colby
Come on,
was,
how good was Colby?
Yeah,
Colby was insane.
Colby.
Yeah,
he was
a joke,
insanely
wasn't
good on the
That's
weekend.
what
But
I've seen.
he hasn't. Peter Steph Dutoit is Razzie's go-to every game.
He is a
and then
machine.
when he comes off the bench,
He reminds me of Ivan
he
Drago
literally
from
is
Rocky
insane as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't know
machine.
if I ever played against. I wish I'd got
Whereas Cheslin, he doesn't, because they've got so many good wingers.
Yeah.
They rotate them around and they get their games and they stay fresh. Whereas Peter Steph Dutoit is basically out there every single game, just ripping up trees.
Kane Doris
Peter
would be brilliant.
Peter Steph,
I'd go. Peter Steph. Yeah.
he was well.
And that's
player of
without
the year in
really giving Eben, who's
2019.
played pretty well
yeah.
as well.
How long can
We
that-
got one in Breakout player. So
Yeah,
Fray
Imani-
Barbosa,
yeah,
yeah.
Barbosa. How long can South Africa sustain?
I was
where
literally
they
just
are
thinking
at?
that because the week before they had Willie LaRue playing and Mapimpi.
Yeah.
And it's like it's chalk and cheese between where they are in their cycle compared to what.
and Kane and Moody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
they've literally got two 15s.
This is what they're doing on G Brands. They
Yeah.
said South
Would be.
Africa B would probably be second in the world.
Yeah.
They'll be up there.
But they have got a few players now, a few of the bomb squad, a few Etzebeth. Peter Steph's done 2, if not 3 World Cups. I think he's done 3 actually. Sustaining where they're at through to 2027.
Snyman was amazing on the
Oh,
weekend.
gee, Snyman was incredible. All
Yeah,
right.
he's great. He offloads like an absolute machine.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, he's an absolute giant.
He's a
literally
giant man.
something out of WWE or whatever.
I love it.
So Peter Steph for World Rugby
I
Player
think
of the Year.
so. I think so.
Okay.
With a special mention to Kane Doris.
Now for a message brought to you by American Express. We all know how tricky it can be to find the right work-life balance.
Amex understands that it's essential to work hard and play hard, so we wanted to share a bit about American Express business cards.
With an Amex business card, you can earn points on your business transactions and then use those points to switch off and enjoy some downtime.
For instance, you can earn points on everyday office purchases like furniture, a new laptop, or even your team days out, and then use those points to help you unwind and recharge.
Whether it's a brand new set of DJ decks for Hask or a set of shiny new golf clubs for Tins, or even booking that once-in-a-lifetime trip to watch the Lions on tour in Australia, the American Express business cards help you achieve the perfect balance in life. For more information, search Amex Business Card. Terms and annual fees apply. 18+, subject to status. Right, let's move it on from England's troubles to Wales' troubles. Wales 20, Australia 52. Let's bring in Jonathan Fox, who we haven't seen since he announced his retirement. I was going to say, how are you? How's retirement? But I suppose the other question is, are you available for selection this weekend?
Well, I'm going to dust the boots off this week and see if I might hang around the Vale Hotel and see if I can get on the pitch. But no, thankfully, obviously the timing seems pretty good at the moment. It's just it's a tough one at the moment over here in Wales. It's pretty dire and the outlook isn't that much brighter, I got to say.
11 defeats in a row. Sorry to go through the detail. The worst run in 143 years. Bucket loads of empty seats. Warren Gatland saying, I'm more than comfortable supporting the best decision the Welsh Rugby Union will make. It's about talking to the right people and making the right decisions, whether that's from the union perspective or my family. So, I mean, everyone's reading into all of that. Give us a sense of just how bad it is, because I suppose for context, it has been pretty bad at times over the last 20, 30 years. Where are we right now?
Obviously, results don't help. And I think you probably think, right, we're back into one of the worst times I've known it. And it's really sad because it's obviously not a lack of effort. And it's almost it's international rugby goes through waves, and currently we're at the bottom of that wave, and we need to get back up to the top. And we've been talking about this group needing time and whatnot, and I think people's patience, and with the success that over the last 15 years that we've had, people's expectations are a lot higher of the Welsh rugby team than previously, and they need to make sure that we need to look at Welsh rugby as a whole now, I think, and make big decisions for its future, because it obviously can't go on like this. Otherwise, we're just going to become, a second-tier nation and be comfortable with it. And that's it just can't happen.
I mean, Gatland better than most, both with Wales and the Lions. What do you read into that statement he's made?
I don't know whether he's, reading into it. Maybe he's comfortable to accept if people feel that he's not the right man, then he's more than happy to walk away. But I don't think he's almost waving the white flag. He's almost saying that, people need to make a decision. I think it's a case of he's making people who should be accountable as well, accountable for their jobs. It's not the head coach. Welsh Rugby has problems all over the board where, you look at under 20s level, at board level, there hasn't been good press for a long time.
I suppose the follow-on question is, it's a crap analogy saying that Gatland is the sort of the fairy on top of the cake. You can very well change what's at the top, but by the feel, it's the entire cake that's the problem here.
Exactly. I think, personally, I think 4 regions is 1 region too many. I think you look at what's happened at the Premiership, you've gone down to 10 teams. That makes competition for places in squads far harder, dry standards in training as a whole. And the product you've had this year, like the Premiership, some of the results and performances have been amazing by teams. And I think in Wales, having 4 teams allows, some average players to become professional rugby players. You need to make sure that there is competition. And when you get that opportunity to be a professional rugby player, you need to realise how lucky you are. When the Premiership went down to 10 teams, it made all those players that were in Worcester and London Irish think, Jesus Christ, I've got to work twice as hard now to get into another club because those opportunities aren't going to be there. And that's where I see that going down a region, making it the quality of the teams better.
Which region would you get rid of?
The way it was,
I don't get paid enough money to make that decision. I don't get paid enough money to make that decision.
If you believe the media, it's the Ospreys.
Oh, really?
That are the one, and I think there've been conversations in the past where they have pulled the plug and then everyone's gone up in arms and so they've put it back in again.
Yeah, but I think also the history of the last 10 years probably hasn't helped because it's probably fully painted over cracks. The team that they had, I think they were number 1 in the world in 2019.
And they're now
11th.
5 years later.
Now,
11th.
Yeah, 5 years. But then it's very hard to then lose the quality of the players that they had then, and have never had the integration with the younger lads to actually bring them upskill.
Well, I always say that you shouldn't have had as many players as we did get into that 80, 90, 100 plus cap, because there should be young talent coming through and pushing like 3 or 4 of us out instead of like close to maybe 10 of us getting that many caps. I think and then that's where I say like the academies is like, are they producing enough talent? Because over the last, you look, like I said, the 20s results, we've almost, nothing's been said about it. We've almost accepted that, Wales will finish in the bottom half of a under 26 Nations campaign, and that's fine. And it's not fine because those are the players that are going to feed up into the national squad. So there needs to be more investment into them to try and make them better as players.
I think as well, if you remember back, this is going back a fair while, but they used to have a massive diversity within the league in terms of, Saffers, Kiwis, and if you can't produce that, you need to bring people over who are then going to have a positive effect on the people around it, and that's ended too.
They haven't got the money to do that.
This is the full problem of it, is because you then don't have the finances to do that either. You're just going to shrink until you hope you get success because you're putting the elite of the elite that's in Wales together.
Yeah.
But there's no other way unless someone comes along and goes, okay, we need to do this different and we need to take a risk.
At what point does this become terminal, Foxy, and it is a sort of blow it up and start again job? How close are you to that?
Are we there now? I don't know.
I mean, it's worth mentioning that
Better results.
I mean, it can come round. The ship can come round very, very quickly, as Australia have shown. 40 points to 6 they lost to Wales in Lyon at the Rugby World Cup just over a year ago. 70-point swing in 12 months. They now put 50 on them in Cardiff. The Grand Slam is on for Australia, 40 years on since 1984, and your great mate Campo. It's a shame if they do it, because he went.
It's almost a shame that he didn't.
He's not coaching them.
Yeah, he's not coaching. Yeah.
Just a word, obviously, having been a Lion in 2013, Foxy. A word on how much greater the challenge has become for the Lions over the last 2 weeks?
Well, they're definitely going to be touring them Australia now, aren't they? I think
that's true.
They have real firepower up front. The way they carried against England and Wales, the way the forwards were coming around the corner, running off 9, getting into the seams of the two defences. They made, two teams that tried to have an aggressive defence look really average. Star quality behind, obviously everyone's talking about Suali, but you think of Tom Wright, who seemed to have so much time on the ball, making right decisions, where previously I thought he was always due like a big mistake. You think, right, put him under pressure, high balls, he would cough one up and you'd be able to get on top of his mistakes. But he seems to have matured into a real good international. Joe Schmidt, the way they're looking to play, it bodes well for a great series if they can continue on this upward curve there. Obviously, they're going to have who they got left. Obviously, Scotland and Ireland, and by the end of this month, we'll know exactly where they're at a competitive level.
Foxy, I don't know if you've seen this from the Sydney Morning Herald, but Australians always just like to keep a lid on it and very calm, very calm, very understated. Redemption, revenge, renaissance. The Wallabies are back, baby. Peter Fitzsimmons goes on to write, several players are now revealing themselves to be genuinely world class. Among them, Angus Bell in the front row, Fraser McWright, and Rob Valentini in the back row. Len Ikitau in the centres, Andrew Kellaway on the wing, and Tom Wright at fullback. We're back, you bastards, and coming for you. So, I mean, that is some pretty exciting stuff after a couple of wins.
One of the Australians.
You love that, right?
Yeah.
We're fucking coming back.
You don't get that sort of writing in the Wales Online, do you?
Not Wales are like. Jonathan Fox says Wales are over.
Down to one region. I'm coming back to run
it.
Foxy wants to get rid of everyone.
John Fox Davies, not Gatland's fault. WRU should look at themselves.
Do you want to give us a prediction for this weekend? Or are you tin hat on, gum shield? It's only the world champions, so, if there's an opportunity to right or wrong, this is it. Or it's a final nail.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
God. I mean, they're rolling into town like the Death Star.
Literally.
I think it's more Empire Strikes Back instead of Return of the Jedi. Let me tell you.
Yeah, true. Where are Wales going to be in 2 weeks' time? Do you think it is changed because it's reached that point?
Look, if changes are made, like you're talking, there needs to be change across the board as well. I think that's the only way we're going to get better, because we need to make sure that the common goal, like I said, is to get Welsh rugby back up in the top flight, and that's going to take more than just getting rid of a coach, I think, anyway.
I do think it's interesting with Gats. I don't know whether he's having worked with him. I don't know if he's the right man to develop a side. I think he's very good at getting the best out of people and harnessing talent. And I think Tins' point is actually he's very smart as old Tins, isn't he? He does see, every now and then gets it right, more so than I do. But just actually very interesting the fact there was no senior players. It literally got rid of everybody and started with a clean slate. So there's no reference points. There's no one to carry the old standards through. There's no one to look to lead. You're suddenly gone from the top of the pile and you've got 10 caps.
So there's a stat yesterday. Gareth Anscombe has 38 caps and the rest of the backline had 40. So that just says how much inexperience there is in that squad.
I just think with Gat, I've obviously rate him, but I just wonder if he's the right man to develop. I don't know if you would do. Rob Howe, those guys, they've been doing it for a little while now. I don't know whether you just need someone to come in and
someone closer to their age group.
Sir Clive has suggested Sam Warburton to come in as Director of Rugby. The best example of the success that an international team can have by employing a strong Director of Rugby is South Africa. Having won back-to-back World Cups, the Springboks have had unprecedented joy with Rassie Erasmus working alongside Jacques Nienaber, and he's thrown Sam Warburton's name into the ring.
Jonathan Davies rolls
so
eyes.
So that's David Flatman running English rugby and Sam Warburton coming in to run Welsh rugby. Do you want to put your name in the hat as well?
Foxy running the back. But
No. Obviously, Sam tried it. He dipped his toe into coaching when Wayne Pivac got the role, and he decided it wasn't for him. Whether or not he'd want like a DOR role, I don't know.
One place that could be useful, it wouldn't create an immediate fix, but I'd be interested to see how it go. Obviously, they had such a good group who aren't that far departed from the game, whether it be Alan of Wynn, whether it be Foxy.
Alan of Wales.
Alan of Wynn. That is a great name.
Alan Wynn.
Alan Wynn.
Alan of Wales.
Alan of Wynn.
But like positional coaches, just have a mentor type system for these young kids to come in. So you've got John Fox Davies sat there, man of the series in a Lions tour, knows all about positional, knows about a kicking game and how to get out, understands that. Just spending time with those players, and same with Warby's on the back row, having those players just come in and help out, not in an official capacity, but just to raise standards. It's something, isn't it? You might as well try something.
Would you like to mentoring role?
Yeah, I think, look, I would love an opportunity to work with people who are wanting to learn. I'm not saying I've got all the answers, but like the team that I played in was one of Wales's most successful. And, if you're struggling, you've got to have to use the resource that you have. And people like Warby might be great mentors. Dan Lydia, who goes, under the radar, but still playing to this day and one of the best professionals you ever played with. Let young boys learn from him. These are the type of boys that have done it, and they should be tapped into. I think it's a great opportunity.
Just read between the lines. You're basically saying you want to take Gatland's job.
No.
Is that what you said? No, that's kind of what I was getting. So you're not saying you wouldn't want to coach Wales. So that's kind of like, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting from you.
We're just asking for a publication.
Yeah.
And just
Could you say that you'd like to coach Wales now, wouldn't you?
No, not at the moment.
And it was the Ospreys you wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, the Ospreys, get rid of them.
Did you just say that?
John Fox Davies Tipexes through Welsh rugby history to start a new
Gatland's job, says John Fox Davies.
I swear, something like that is having those where you speak to players about situational awareness at international, because all your time is cut down. Having someone's to pick their brains about other options that they could have chose just by watching tape is invaluable, really.
Okay. John Fox, thank you for joining us. I wonder if we might be chatting to you again sooner rather than later, given the way this is all playing out. But good luck this weekend. Keep believing, and we will no doubt see you soon. But thank you very much for dialing in. Keep well, my friend. Thanks.
I tell you what, if
thanks for
Wales
having me,
win,
boys.
I'm getting in the car and I'm coming down for a night out in Cardiff without a shadow of a doubt.
Get it ready just in case. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks for dialing in, dude.
It's on ice, boys. All the best, boys.
Right, there goes John Fox. Johnny, your favourite bit of the week?
What a great opportunity it is to take stock.
He said nothing for 10 minutes, but he's back.
Yeah.
And talk about another friend of ours at the Good Bad Rugby, NordVPN.
Welcome to NordVPN.
Great friends.
Thank you for your support, guys. And I'll touch on how you've helped me and my family over the last couple of weeks before Alex dives into the detail of what's available to our listeners. So, 2 things they've helped my family with. My family get to watch me play in the Pro League
Via NordVPN.
Yeah. And
so they're in France. They plug into their NordVPN.
No, they're in England. They're in England.
It's a different play on it.
I see what
it's
you've
a UK-based play.
So UK use NordVPN to watch me play in the Pro League. Also, what I've been doing with my wife, Sophie, is using NordVPN to watch Married at First Sight. It's the best thing you can possibly watch if you just want to clear your head.
I've seen bits of it where they go up there and they sort of go, I love myself, and then they go up and stand up, and then they obviously get rejected, and at the end of it they sort of realisation that they're not as happy with themselves. They need to go and sort themselves out. It's sort of the constant narrative.
I'd say NordVPN's ad is veering off track.
Oh, sorry, no, it's just interesting aside.
I love Married at First Sight, and I can't watch it without NordVPN.
But also, don't forget about your identity, because when you go through a VPN, and Nord is the preferred option.
There is.
It obviously makes things unreadable. It's encrypted, so it also protects your personal.
And then Big Pharma can't get hold of your data.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. The deep state that Donald Trump's warned us all about.
Or steal your crypto.
Yeah.
Slightly lighter tone for the ad read itself, which is if you're enjoying a holiday abroad or on less of the deep state, more if you're going on holiday, or if you're outside the UK on a business trip, you can switch your virtual location to back home so you can access your streaming services to catch all of the action from the Autumn Nation series as well. So that plugs in nicely.
Very nicely.
To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/goodbadrugby, and our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The The link is in the podcast episode description box. We have discussed on this week's show problems with England. We have discussed problems with the whole of Welsh rugby, which leads us on to Breakaway League. What do we know? Apparently it's happening. 2026 is the start date. 200 players, 8 teams, city franchises, including teams in the US and the Middle East. The contracted players will be on salaries of around £700,000 for a 14-round tournament in which each franchise plays each other twice. It does fit into the international calendar, we understand, indicating that the backers do not want to become embroiled in a clash with World Rugby. We should also actually say congratulations to Dr. Brett Robinson, who's been named the new chairman of World Rugby.
A week after he's on our show.
You're welcome. We made a break.
Doc.
Do take us with you, please.
Yeah. We've got some law changes.
A penny
we need to
for your
bring in.
thoughts. £700,000, Johnny, for 14 games across the world. Which
Sounds
franchise
amazing.
would you like to play for?
Well, did they have names yet?
Well, but pick us a global city.
The
Where would
London
you want to play
Legends, the
if you're
Cape
gonna
Town
play in
Crusaders.
Wow.
The Dubai Devils.
Yeah, why not Dubai? I love
You'd like to go
UAE.
there?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a game changer? Are players talking about this?
I feel like it's just a natural evolution of where things need to go. Like, I think rugby needs to adapt. Money talks, money makes things progress. Sounds awesome.
They say money doesn't give you happiness. I disagree.
Right. That's your contribution.
Money won't fix everything. It pretty much will fix all of my problems. Like,
So,
not
sorry,
one of them it wouldn't
you said
fix.
14 games.
That's what we understand.
That would be
18. So
delightful.
that's 14 round.
How many teams?
8.
8
So
teams.
14 round
Regular.
robin.
Yeah, that's
regular
twice. That makes
season,
sense.
no.
Yeah.
And also,
then
you
you'd
can
have
still
a-
play for your country.
Yeah.
I think it's the perfect crime. If they can actually do it. My only
Here's thoughts on it as well. So no, you go. But I was like, well, we talk about the financial problem. So obviously you're taking, so every league's got financial problems.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming if they're getting paid this, obviously all that money is coming off the wage bills that are carried by the clubs at the moment. Yes, the downside is they obviously
It ruins the clubs. The clubs are gone.
But I don't think it does. Do you think so? If you
It changes it
300 players
massively.
in the whole world, so top 300,
which carry the whole of the game.
Averages for I don't know. Anyone's got massive 97 professional clubs around the world, 300
that
players.
details. We're not big.
That's 3
Three o'clock.
Top three players out of-
Which do front.
But
They front it. They do, those guys.
but then
But they're not the be all and the end.
foregoing, does it not then create more jobs because you're actually elevating some, so there'll be more jobs available at clubs without the higher carry of the salary, and then you're creating competition back in that league, and everyone will want to get to that league.
If you think of the very best of the club leagues in time, the Heineken Cup at a time was the best club competition in the world. It's now defunct. Super Rugby before that was the best club competition in the world. It's now defunct. What you're essentially doing is taking the best of Super Rugby
all of
from
it,
the
yeah.
90s and early 2000s and the best of the European Cup from the late 90s, early 2000s. You're bolting it together into a global structure and you're
amazing.
taking the best players
Yeah.
into that league.
Yep.
And that does fix a bit of the problem which we've touched on this show, which is potentially the gap now between the Premiership and the top level of international rugby is too big. They are different.
And
they are
what,
different
and what
games.
you're making it is player led because it's the best players in the world who are going to be they're going to be all we talk about now is player safety, player welfare. So they're going to be playing less games available for all international games if it's what it says on the tin. So they'll have a maximum of. Well, if you say there's 14 games plus however many internationals, so they'll be playing a maximum game of 24 to 26 games. The unions will have more time than ever. You look at what we've just talked about with Foxy with Wales, those issues won't stand. Technically, if they are going to pay the wages to where they say they're going to get, so not necessarily would England have to pay their players. So you're actually offloading a $7.5 million over.
Well, you'd still have to pay them for international duty.
Well,
wouldn't
but
you?
they don't play
Well,
football.
no,
do
not
they?
if you. Well, but it's one thing if they talk to the unions, they could say, "Well, we'll add that. We'll basically cover that in what we're going to pay it."
Oh, okay. Wow.
The only thing,
Well, you could do that, couldn't you?
The reason I think this works is really important is it's not governed by any of the old structures. So the reason rugby's going to die or it's going to weather is because nobody will ever put a hand up and change anything or admit they were wrong or do anything differently. So if you come in, you're not sanctioned by anybody, but you basically go, right, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to make it summer sport season, less games, the best players. I think the Premiership clubs, for them, they then go and put a smaller salary cap in. They don't have to worry about it. They restructure. They suddenly look at the profit, about how their profitability. They completely transform that. Obviously, with the top, you get TV rights. You've got the opportunity to make it bigger and better, and you're not beholden to anything that's gone before. My only concern is you need the money to be able to do it, because if it changes and moves halfway,
is it US backed?
I don't know where the cash is coming from,
US backed.
but the problem is if it runs out of money halfway through, then you've basically torn up the game and ruined it, and you've taken everyone away. To go back will be quite difficult, because once the genie's out the bottle and there's players have left, that's what will be an issue. I think. I also think with the. Whether you actually get the players, whether the pressure from the clubs, because it's sort of very much in sport, and particularly rugby, it's very much a teacher-pupil relationship. It's very much they put pressure on you. Don't do it. Don't. Yeah, and I think I'm just interested to see if they can actually get the confidence to do it, because who's the first one's going to leap? Because it'll be, if you get DuPont, you get these other guys, then it'll start moving away. Get Ardy Severe in there, get Cheslin Colby over there. All those guys, if you can get them to agree, then that will make a massive difference. And I think it can happen, and it will actually change the landscape.
You're going to burn everything that you're leaving behind, and I think.
I would be
amazed. Well, possibly, but I'd be amazed.
We don't know if it's for the better.
I'd be
or the
amazed
worse.
at the start if you would be allowed to play international rugby as well. I think you will have to go, and then a bit like live golf, you will end up coming back and reforming it. But would you therefore, if it was £700,000 to go and play in the new league, but you had to leave your England career behind?
It depends where you are in your career and who you are and what you're doing, and what you think is different for everybody. It just feels like things need to change.
You think about it, for a winger, you can't get a job.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, if all the best wingers go, then there's more jobs for those wingers.
It just makes things adapt and develop.
The good things that we've written down here is the fact that it's a less game, which the whole world is talking about. World Rugby is talking about the best playing less games, and currently under the first, if you play international, you get punished more than if you don't. So clubs. So Johnny's on a week off. The top 14 had a couple of weeks off. Obviously, the Prem Cup comes in, so the Premiership players have time off, but the actual internationals don't. And then, if they can't touch. It would be absolute suicide to touch international rugby. So then it would be mad if the unions and the World Rugby don't buy into it. If you're going, all these guys are definitely going to be available for all your windows, and you're not going to have to pay them for it. Plus, then the unions can still pay the clubs, so the clubs are still getting that money that is now being used to cover salaries when their players go away. Well, actually, that money now goes onto your budget sheets, and then. Hopefully that they're actually thinking about the game in a whole, which they'll actually put money. They see money going down the chain as well.
Yeah. I think
there's a lot of money suddenly.
I think honestly,
obviously, sponsors and everything are going to be.
Some clubs will fold because they just won't be able to. But they're always going to fold long term. I think it will take less pressure off the Premiership clubs. I think it will change the game. I think it will increase the talent pool. I think other players you might never have heard of will get opportunities. I think this Breakaway League gets the best TV rights, and it's actually visible and seen on normal television or Sky or whatever it is. That's going to be massively important, because how you sell it and watch it, because it'll live and die by its availability. I just think if this doesn't happen,
brave than that. You could do something clever in the digital sphere.
You could 100%
free for everybody anywhere at any point.
100%. I'd make, because you want.
Well, you've got to make it different from what it is now.
Yeah. I just hope that they look at all the lessons and do the complete polar opposite, and see this as a real opportunity to right all the wrongs, and there aren't traditionalists in there trying to hark on what's gone on before, because to make this sustainable, you have to do completely what's not been done, and I think it'd be really exciting to see it happen, because I don't see any other solution. Because if this doesn't happen, this is just going to slowly bleed out rugby until it disappears.
Interesting thing will be is I read quite a few of the articles over the weekend, and it was like, why should a Gloucester fan, I'm picking Gloucester just because it's my club, why should a Gloucester club fan care about this new league? And well, my argument would be, if I take top 300 in the Gloucester team at the moment, if there is one, Santiago Carreras maybe might get in.
Yeah.
So you're losing one. Is that going to change the attendance for Leicester Gloucester?
I think it does. I think we don't. It's all hypothetical. I think
you're missing half your England stars most of the season
I think
anyway.
It does. I think you still get good. I think it just changes. I think it does. Of course, it does have an impact, but there's it's yin and yang, isn't it? It saves the club money.
Having read the Shed Web numerous times over the lifestyle of my career, they're not really bothered about England anyway. So they're going to focus on Gloucester, whatever is playing, because that's how rugby die-hard rugby fans are just, Bath. We've talked about Bath, and the fact that their biggest worry is that their age range of their fans, and someone will die before you can get another membership. So, you're not. By the sound of it, you're not catering to them. You are going to a city to engage, and I'm assuming they're going to pick the city where rugby is most prevalent. We've talked about in that one show that randomly that the 7th most viewed country of the World Cup was Germany. So. Well, if you go through the top 10, so does that mean they're going to go to Germany and deliver one hell of a show on the weekend? And then you've got a whole new fan base. Then Germany finally has a team that might be.
I think you're also not worrying about the shed-heads with the greatest love and
No,
respect. You're trying to get into the kids that watch NBA, NFL, UFC.
You'd have two teams. I just think I think it'll actually. It will create longevity within the Premiership because then you're free reign to reduce the salary cap, to actually spend less money and to protect it. Because after that report we looked at, it makes X amount of money, but we spend way more of it. That has to completely change. It's the worst business model I've ever seen.
You see which clubs are sustainable, and it's just it's pushed along quicker.
I think you'd be a Saracens supporter and the Dubai Knights, because you like those players in there, and also it's a combination of different players. And there isn't, it's not that emotional heritage. It's like in America when they took NFL teams and basketball teams and moved them to cities and stuff like that. Everyone's like, you can't do that, and they always thrive because you're there for the entertainment. You're not necessarily there for the heritage. And I think people who support teams because of the heritage and the tradition will continue to do that, maybe on a reduced level. I think you'll find more superstars. It's not like we take everyone out. There's no more good rugby players. There'll be more superstars that keep coming through, and they'll play for their clubs for a period of time, and then hopefully get scouted and go up.
It did also. One of them say that it was going to be a women's league as well. So, there is a fast growing pace there anyway, and 30% of the playing the world playing group of rugby players is women.
Yeah, 3 million women play rugby.
Yeah, and 6.5 blokes.
Do we think it gets off the ground or not?
Listen,
yes or no?
Yes, I hope so. But if they run out of cash, it's going to be a nightmare.
Something like this is going to happen at some point. I hope
there
it's
are
soon.
challenges coming.
Yeah, if they can get the players, if you get 100 of the best players, you're on.
Game on. Watch this space. We may well be revisiting this as the story develops. We did actually do a show on something like this. Was it last year? This year?
We get Brett Robinson done. We get Lynn Golf done.
We basically came up
rugby, wasn't
we
it?
came up
that
with this
with Mark Foster.
Came up with this 2 years
have a
ago.
look at that if you haven't watched it. It's certainly divided opinion. It's well worth a watch.
But also, this is going to divide opinion, but it kind of humans inherently hate change and things are not comfortable with.
But if we don't change,
but it goes back to that thing that we talked about with the darts, doesn't it? We're not doing it for that fan base. We're doing it for the ones that don't get
like
touched.
the 2020 cricket.
Everyone said
we'll always have Gloucester, and the new kids might.
Everyone said like T20, the Big Bash, IPL, all sort of awful.
It's not.
Everyone loves it. You just got to reinvent the wheel, otherwise it doesn't.
Otherwise, it runs out of spinning.
It does run out of spinning. Someone actually. Oh no.
Black Eye had a big week.
We did have a big week, Alex. It's unbelievable.
Big month.
We went global. We were literally
advertising at the Principality Stadium.
And because Australia pumped them, there was a lot of try scoring, and we were in the background a lot.
Yeah.
It was a high scoring game.
Well,
and actually,
at one point, the competition. Tom Wright.
Tom Wright is pointing up because he's scored a try, and he's actually pointing to our side.
Oh, that's cool.
Excellent. Black Eye, £1.50 of every bottle sold goes to Black Eye Players Fund for helping injured men and women across the
This week we're going to send a bottle to Darcy Graham. I don't think we've sent a bottle north of the border, other than possibly
north of the wall.
Summer holidays.
North of the wall.
But Darcy Graham, who has equalled Scotland's all-time try-scoring record with Duhan van der Merwe, 29 in 41, they have got a bit of a match going now as to who finishes with how many over the next few years. I'm not sure either have stopped yet, but well done, Darcy Graham. We will stick a bottle of our Black Eye in the post to you. The award-winning gin that combines botanicals from each of the 4 leading rugby nations, and as Hask said, £1.50 from each bottle sold funds 3 key categories: risk, research and recovery for past and present rugby players.
Do they actually get the bottles?
Yes, Ryan sends them up.
You sure?
Yeah, because I write the note.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That's very good.
Dear Darcy, enjoy. Lots of love from GBR.
I like it.
Lock in, James.
Oh yeah, we do another sub show. It's called Lock In.
Another substandard show.
The substandard is £3. Basically, pay for it. I know some of you get a bit perturbed for that, but it's just us chatting irreverent bollocks together. We actually love it because it's not as sanitised as this. This is very much family friendly. ish, but Lock-in's.
I'm not sure we can be classified as family friendly.
I suppose not. Yeah, someone actually. Yeah.
Anyway,
No, remember the live show?
Oh yeah.
They said it was a family show.
Yeah, it's a family show. Really?
the kids who came and then watched their
earmuffs.
iPads.
Yeah.
Lock-in $3.99. Stories from behind the scenes. John, the testimonial.
Yeah, we've got like 9 tickets left to sell.
Oh.
It's shaping up to be a great evening. Nanny is behind the curtain, is working her
old
socks
Nanny.
off.
Someone wants one of those 9s. Where do they go?
Look on my Instagram. It's in the bio. The link.
What is your Instagram?
Jonny with a 0 for the
That's
O.
funny. Mine's J Ames. Yours is J Only.
I just thought about it. I just thought about it a bit too much.
Mine's J Ames Haskell.
I just
Fuck
thought
you,
about
what
it a
is
bit
wrong
too
with you,
much.
honestly?
I just thought about it a bit too much.
Mine's J Only, M.A. What? What do you mean, Jonny May?
I didn't want to confuse people
How would you confuse him with your fucking name?
because the 0 replaces the O.
Oh, well, that's what you should say. It's J
It's
zero
Johnny
with
Johnny
a
with a
0. 1 0 though, not 2.
Yeah.
But that's only that as if it's a
J.
password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
I don't quite know how to finish this
I mean,
show.
honestly, come to the
that
testimonial
is the
because it
gems.
gets better than that.
That
you know
is
when
the
the
gem
last
that
bit
you're
of
gonna hear from
toothpaste
the
goes down the drain?
testimonial.
Yeah.
This is what this show's
This is
disappointing.
we're hosting it though. We're hosting
Our
it.
book, James.
Oh yeah, we've got GBR Unleashed. It's a flipping belter of a book. Here it is. Oh, here it is. GBR Unleashed. I think these are the fake copies of the real ones. No, they are the real ones. No, it's the bollocks. This is not even a real book. There's not a title in the book called The Enchanted Isles. What the fuck? What part of my life was that?
That's the bit that's
Dawn and
coming.
Frederick had fled a place on the precipice of violence for one with a history steeped in
What
it.
have
The
they done?
Galapagos Islands are themselves
What is
vestiges
that?
of terrestrial. Right,
What is that?
Dawn and Frederick.
Oh, so they put the cover on any old book.
Listen,
book is
this is
it?
a good question. This is exactly what we're talking about. Dawn and Frederick had fled to a place on the precipice of violence for one with a
Oh my
history
God,
steeped
they
in
have,
it.
haven't
The
they?
Galapagos Islands are themselves vestiges of terrestrial violence. What? What utter bollocks is this book?
So you can buy that, or you can buy GBR Unleashed.
Quickly, swiftly moving on. We're finally with Black Eye. We're in Waitrose cellar. So there's
tell
no
you
more
what.
trying to find us on social media or anywhere online. We are.
We are
gonna be in
out
the
and
cellar.
about. Buy a bottle of Black Eye and the rugby this weekend on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. Friday, France against Argentina. Saturday, Ireland against Fiji. Wales against South Africa. Good luck, Gats. Italy against New Zealand. And on Sunday, Scotland, Australia.
Nice.
And England up against Eddie. Our new YouTube series, The Uncoachables, with Max Brown and Rugby with Amy, is out as well. If you've got younger rugby lovers in your family, do send them away The Uncoachables. It's growing very nicely. Big plans coming. And that, thankfully, is a wrap for today's episode. We've recorded for 2.5 hours. How long this show actually is when it goes to air, well, that'll tell you all you need to know. Thank you for tuning in to The Good, The Bad and The Rugby in partnership with Continental Tires, our go-to for premium tyres, whether on the rugby field or on the road. Safety always comes first. And always, unlike this show, Continental Tires are award-winning. Don't forget, please do subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on social media at Jonny May for all interactions with John May.
For G, B, ad.
We are a folding. We are rugby. We're a folding pocket production as well.
By
Stats
T
and
on.
facts provided by Oval Insights. This episode, I give up.
Yeah, just give it up.
The
Don't
end.
matter.
This episode was produced by Tom Edwards. Goodbye.
You've been listening to The Good, Yay, The Bad, and The Rugby, Oof, with Alex Payne, James Haskell, and Mike Tyndall. Thanks for listening.